Carolina is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to yield 4 minutes to the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Andy Barr.
The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my friend, the gentleman from South Carolina, for his leadership on the Foreign Affairs Committee, his leadership in the Congress, and his advocacy for the free people of Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, as the United States and our NATO allies and other allies respond to Vladimir Putin's unprovoked and brutal attack on the free, sovereign, and independent nation of Ukraine, we must assess the many ways in which Russia is seeking to evade sanctions. And that includes the extent to which Russia is turning to China to enable its aggression. Mr. Speaker, the unholy alliance between the Chinese Communist Party and the authoritarian oligarchs running the Kremlin is a serious threat to the United States and our allies, and it's enabling this illegal aggression against Ukraine. On February 4th, Russia and the CCP released a joint statement following a meeting with Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, outlining a strategic partnership with, quote, no limits. Following Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, China refused to condemn Russia's gross violation of international law. China has continued to be silent while Russia targets and kills innocent women, children, and civilians in Ukraine. Instead of condemning Putin's war crimes, the CCP is rewarding them. On February 28th, after the invasion, the CCP struck a massive deal with the Russian energy company Gazprom. Gazprom will deliver 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas per year to the CCP under the agreement. Mr. Speaker, it's time for the United States to confront this new axis of evil head on. My legislation, the Assessing Xi's Interference and Subversion Act, or the Axis Act, requires the U.S. State Department to submit an ongoing report to Congress detailing the CCP's support for Russia before and since the invasion of Ukraine. This includes troubling reports about CCP efforts to assist Russia in evading the effects of international sanctions. The Axis Act also requires the State Department to submit its first report to Congress within 30 days of the bill being enacted and 90 days thereafter. I plan on receiving a commitment from Secretary Blinken at tomorrow's Foreign Affairs Committee hearing that he will comply with this deadline. I want to thank my Democrat and Republican colleagues on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, including Chairman Meeks and Ranking Member McCall. I want to thank my friend from Minnesota for his support of this legislation, and my friend from South Carolina as well, and for helping us unanimously pass this bill out of committee. The threat that this new axis of evil poses to the United States is not a Republican or Democrat one, it's an American one. And this full report on the Russia-CCP alliance will inform the American public and enable lawmakers to begin positioning the United States to overcome this geopolitical challenge. As a member of the House China Task Force, and as a strong belief that freedom must be defended when aggression from authoritarians like this invasion that we've seen, we must confront it, we must repel it, we must call it out when we see it, and that's why I urge all of my colleagues in the House to vote yes, and I yield back.